sincere. But, Erica, but nothing. Send the drafts over to the agency. If she signs, she signs. If she doesn't, then I'm sure they or somewhere else will have someone on their books who's less nervy. The kettle blew time. I splashed water in the mug and equal parts of milk and sugar. My phone was connected to the kitchen speaker system, so the ring would be loud enough for me to hear in the garden. Cigarette, lighter, fresh tea in hand, I ventured outside where traces of Otis Redding could find me and blend with bird song. I looked back into the kitchen, though, and caught a glimpse of my reflection in the window pane there. My curls hadn't yet been tamed by a hairbrush, nor my bags filled with foundation or cosmetic concrete. But I wondered whether it was necessary, even for a sit-down conversation with an employee, a would-be employee. Did I need to look perfect so I could sit opposite her and give her the rundown of my most imperfect experiences? I snorted at the thought, and a small puff of smoke rushed through my nose and scratched my throat all at once. My lungs struggled while I coughed away the amusement. I said to a nearby blackbird, pecking furiously at a food tray that would need to be topped up again by late morning, "Everyone is always so greedy around here." I smiled and took another thirsty inhale of smoke. The neighbours were mostly quiet, but in a small village everyone knew everything. Or at least they thought they did. But they were always hungry for more. I wondered whether anyone would notice my visitor later in the day, whether anyone would catch her for a chat even. The blackbird chirruped as I turned back from exhaling the smoke away from him. He tilted his head, staring at me, and chirruped once more. "Everyone is chatty around here too, aren't they?" I asked, but he said nothing that time. I ran a hand through my tangled mess of hair, swallowed tea and smoked again, and leaned back against the outer wall of home. The garden had taken a lot of work, but it was a beautiful space in these early hours. From here, I could see straight down to the bottom, the neat grass and the encroaching shrubs, and the birds that bounced from one side to the other. No one overlooked the garden, though, and that was perhaps my favourite thing about it. I listened hard to birds outside, the opening chords of Hotel California and the crackle of my cigarette burning down from another slow drag. Not for the first time then. I wondered why I wanted to tell my story at all. In those quiet moments, with nothing to bother or threaten me. Why now? Why does it matter any more? The soft guitar drifting from the kitchen was undercut by a kerfuffle, somewhere beyond the garden. I heard birds still, but behind the crunch of gravel. Then I lost them entirely, to the shrill ring of my mobile through the speaker inside. Only one ring, though, as requested. I asked her to let me know when she'd pulled up. I didn't rush the last of my cigarette. Only 3 decent drags left. And then I exhaled, inhaled, exhaled, as though the last of the smoke were the clearest air anyone might taste. I tried to laugh again then, but the sound got caught in my throat, and I drowned it with a drink. Inside the kitchen, the music was louder still, but soft, soothing. Only the streaming service that I used always pulled the covers before the classics, so I didn't recognize the singer behind this version. I was a child when the original track came out. Roger always played it, over and again whenever he was upset. Strange. Then, that song always stirred a fondness in me. I turned it off on my way to answer the door, though.